Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Welcome to you all on this daily cricket show. And in this daily cricket show, there are two aspects that I'm going to look at in the sense, two aspects in the sense, two matches, I would say. One is as I said yesterday, that India have never beaten New Zealand in a T20 match, and for many people that would have sounded very very strange. And it was also Ashish Nehra, the pace bowler's swan song match today in front of his home crowd in Delhi. Well, you could have not expected, even though he could not pick up any wickets, what he did what India did for him was give him a parting gift in his last Test match. And this also, as I said, this was the first ever win by India against New Zealand in T20s after the past five exchanges had gone in favor of New Zealand. So India, thus having beaten every member nation in cricket in T20, and New Zealand was the only one left out, and that has also been accomplished. And I'm sure it's a relief for India. And besides that, the way they did it, they put on Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma, scored the lion's share of the Indian innings of 202 in 20 overs as they slammed a 158-run partnership for the first wicket, with Rohit Sharma and Dhawan making 80 apiece. And this also happened to be a record for India as far as partnerships are concerned. This is the highest ever partnership for India in T20s, beating the previous record of 138 runs. And so a lot of things to happen, a lot of records broken, and definitely a mountainous total of 202 was always in T20 cricket is something where you could say that the other team would be the winner in 99 times out of 100, and that's what precisely happened. India won the match. India won the match, this first T20 match of the series, by 53 runs, their first ever win against New Zealand in T20s. So I'll be talking about this game, and sorry for the sore throat, dear friends, and also the game between Zimbabwe and West Indies, where West Indies also there was a record which was set. There was a 109 years record in Test cricket which was broken. It happened way back, 109 years back, whereby no the number 8 batsman and number 9 batsman. So we are talking about Shane Dowrich and Jason Holder having a unique record now of having put on a partnership of 202 runs, and it's basically Shane Dowrich and Holder making century. Dowrich getting his maiden Test done, which was good to see. He also, it was a welcome return to form for Shane Dowrich, who's a good player according to me, and Jason Holder, the captain, getting his second Test century, as both made merry against the Zimbabwean bowlers. And Shane Dowrich and Holder gave West Indies a 122 runs lead, and the Zimbabweans were reduced to 140 for 4 at close of play. Once again, Sikandar Raza coming to the rescue, and he was undefeated on 58, and he'll be resuming the innings tomorrow, which I'll be talking about. So as I said, these are the two things we are going to look at. So first, we are getting on to the first T20. As I said, it was Nehra's swan song match. Pressure on India, as India had never beaten New Zealand in T20 match. So this match was played at the home ground, Firozshah Kotla in Delhi, which is also home to Shikhar Dhawan, Virat Kohli, and Ashish Nehra. And New Zealand actually won the toss, and they would have never expected such a blitzkrieg from the Indian openers. And Indian openers Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan were absolutely in their element today, and probably they walked in to probably India had a determination that they were going to actually give a parting gift to the former to the pace bowler, left-arm pace bowler Ashish Nehra, And they came with a mission, I would say, and they also knew that they had to get their first win against New Zealand. And what a way! They scorched boundaries aplenty today. And the New Zealand bowlers were wilting under the extreme pressure exerted by the batting of Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan. Let's have a look at the bowling. I mean, Mitchell Santon, I thought, stood amongst the ruins, and also Ish Sodhi, the right-arm leg spinner, did a good job to put a brakes on the Indian innings. Mitchell Santner, 4 overs, none for 30. Trent Bolt was really carted for 49 runs with 4 overs with 1 wicket. Tim Southee was clattered for 44 of his 4. Colin D. Granholm, 3 overs, cost him 34. Ish Sodhi was the one who had a handle on the Indians. 4 overs, no went to 25. He always have been successful against the Indians. Ish Sodhi, right arm leggy. Colin Munro bowled 1 over for 14 runs. Now looking at the batting, as I said, Shikhar Dhawan, probably in his home ground, he was so pumped up that Shikhar Dhawan was slamming boundaries at absolute will. At the other end, Rohit Sharma was hitting those big sixes, and no bowler was spared. And Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan were making merry at the expense of the New Zealand bowling, as they really clattered boundaries aplenty, and this partnership kept on growing. It was growing, I would say, I would call it leaps and bounds, and there was no stopping this two pair. But let me tell you, the New Zealand fielding was responsible for Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan putting on the highest partnership for India in T20s of 158 runs in 16.2 overs, as a lot of catches were dropped, and that really, I thought New Zealand were paying the penalty there. And this 158 run partnership, with the Rohit Sharma's contribution being 80 of 55 balls, 6 fours and 4 sixes. Rohit Sharma used to play the drive and the pull beautifully. Shikhar Dhawan, as you know, he cuts well, he also lofts well, and he was never afraid to leave his crease and have a go at the bowlers. Shikhar Dhawan's contribution being 80 of 52 deliveries with 10 fours and 2 sixes. And Hardik Pandya, unfortunately, at a score which was absolutely tailor-made for Hardik Pandya to come and clatter some sixes, unfortunately the plan didn't work. Ish Sodhi, who had taken the wicket of Shikhar Dhawan, dismissed Pandya in the same over for a knot, caught behind by Latham. And that was, so probably if Hardik Pandya would have been there, one don't know, probably the score would have even reached 225, but didn't happen. And luckily for New Zealand, Pandya departed cheaply. But Virat Kohli decided that he will play Pandya's role, as he came in, and then he really took the long handle to such an extent that he belted 26 unbeaten runs of 11 balls, hitting 3 big sixes of the bowlers. He went after Granholm, he deposited the spinners, he went after Southee. Dhoni hit one massive 6 of Tim Southee. Kohli was not on 26 of 11 deliveries, 3 sixes. Dhoni was not on 7 of just 2 deliveries, which included a 6. And India went and sat on a total of 202 for 3. Also, let me tell you, the next batsman who was slotted in was Shreyas Iyer, who was actually making his T20 debut, and unfortunately, he did not get a chance to bat. So India 202 for 3. I would definitely say that the New Zealand bowlers wilted under the pressure. The New Zealand fielding run ragged, and that's the precise reason India managed to reach such a big total. And this was a sort of a record, the bigger stand in T20s for India. And also it was in terms of, I'm told it was the longest opening partnership in terms of, in T20, in terms of balls, as India, 98 balls were consumed by this opening pair. And and now the New Zealand chase started. The New Zealand chase never got any momentum. First, they were done in with Virat Kohli actually operating with Ashish Nehra and Yuzvendra Chahal at the other end. And what a master stroke that was, as first Colin Munro got it was Guptill was the first wicket, and Chahal was consumed by Guptill's wicket was consumed by Chahal. He was gone for 4. It was a wonderful catch. What a catch taken by Pandya. diving full length at long off. It would have definitely surprised Martin Guptill. He was gone for 4 of 8 deliveries, with one boundary, a solitary boundary, and Colin Munro received a tremendous Yorker from Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, which he was not able to dig it out, and it went and hit the target. He was gone, bowled by Kumar for 7 of 8 deliveries. After that, Kane Williamson and Latham were the ones who resisted by bringing things under some sort of control from 18 for 2 as they pushed the score on to 54. But Pandya picked up the wicket of Kane Williamson for 28 of 24. That was 1-4 and 1-6. And the Indian bowling was spot on, I would say. Tom Latham did his bet. He did 39 of 36, 3-4s and 1-6 in an effort to actually go and, I would say, really pick up the momentum. He was stumped by Dhoni for 39, and he was the highest scorer in this New Zealand camp. Tom Bruce came in, and Tom Bruce was given an opportunity today, could contribute at 10 of as many balls with 1-4. Grandholm was left for naught. Henry Dickells was run out for 6 of 7 balls with 1-4. Santner stayed till the end, not out on 27 of 14 deliveries, 2-4s to absolutely no avail. Saudi was a victim of the bowling of Bumrah for 8 of 4 balls, 2 boundaries. Sodhi was not out on 11 of 9 balls, 2-4s, but it was nothing that New Zealand could do. India totally dominated, and the New Zealanders or the Kiwis were restricted to 149 for 8. Now India won by 53 runs. If we look at the bowling, Ashish Nehra, even though he could not pick up any wicket, but I'm sure he would have been very, very happy that on his home ground, this is the last match for Ashish Nehra. He definitely would have been very happy with the result, as India registered a wonderful victory over New Zealand, and Ashish Nehra said goodbye to international cricket and domestic cricket as well after giving yeoman service to Indian cricket. He had his problems. He was not a regular member of the team, the reason being injuries really played a part, but definitely one would remember the World Cup that he played, in which he came in and picked up the wickets, the England batsman. One can never forget that. And his bowling was ideally suited to English type of conditions. 4 overs none for 29, doesn't matter. It's goodbye for Ashish Nehra. It was his last stint at international cricket. Yuzvendra Chahal, 4 overs 2 for 26. A very good move by Virat Kohli, the Indian captain, to bring him first up. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, what a Yorker he produced to nip out Colin Munro. 3 overs 1 for 23. Bumrah 4 overs 1 for 37. A bit costly, I would say. Akshar Patel, by his standards. Akshar Patel, 4 overs, no maiden, 2 for 20, did a fine job. Pandya bowled 1 over, 1 for 11, but he picked up a magnificent catch. And the 3-match series, India lead 1-0. Player of the match going to Shikhar Dhawan for his scorching 80 runs that he made on his home ground. And this is as far as this particular match is concerned. And now we move on the topic to the West Indies versus Zimbabwe match. The West Indies versus Zimbabwe. It was West Indies who resumed, as I said, 109 years back. A record was set, in the sense we had the number 9 batsman, number 8 batsman, and the number 9 batsman making centuries. It was way back, 109 years back, when Clem Hill and Hartigan did it in the Australia-England series, I reckon. And just by looking at the statistics, I was able to say that. And Shane, Dowrich, and Holder really pushed together. I mean, they really waited for any loose opportunities to score off, and they did a fine job with Shane Dowrich especially reaching his century by Creamer, the skipper, Graham Creamer, the Zimbabwean skipper, for a magnificent 6 to bring up his century. And how pumped up and how delighted he was as he got his maiden test done, his bounce, and why not? He did a wonderful job. He definitely is a very talented cricketer. Shane Dowrich, 103, 10 4s and 1 6. Jason Holder went on to make 110, played a few good strokes, 110 to his name, his second test ton, 9 4s and 2 6s. But after that, it was Chisoro. Chisoro once again showing some very good bowling skills. In fact, he picked up Jason Holder by bowling him around his legs, and Shane Dowrich was out to a real turner from Chisoro, It was LBW for 103, and Kemar Roche was LBW with Chisholm for not. Gabriel not out 5, and 448 all out was the final total for the West Indies, thus taking 122 runs lead over Zimbabwe in the first innings. Pofu did his job perfectly. He seemed to be, I think Pofu has made some changes to his bowling because he seems to be very, very improved. 28 overs, 10 maidens, 55 runs on 1 wicket. Solomon Mire, 5 overs, 2 maidens, none for 5. Creamer, 52 overs, toiled 8 maidens, 161 runs on 1 wicket. Sikandar Raza stood out. His best analysis in Test cricket, 48 overs, 12 maidens, 99 runs and 5 wickets. Chisoro really impressed with his bowling, 41.2 overs, 9 maidens, 113 runs and 3 wickets. And Masakadza, 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 9. And now Zimbabwe were started with 22 runs in arrears, and Kemar Roche struck it big. In fact, he rocked them by dismissing both the openers very early in the piece. As first he picked up the wicket of Hamilton Mascot, some very good bowling from Roche, where he forced Masakadza to search for the ball, and then using the angle of the crease came at a wide angle and actually nipped in a beautiful in-swinger, which Masakadza had absolutely no answer, as he was castled by Kemar Roche for 5 with 1 boundary. So not a good start for Zimbabwe. And the next to go was Solomon Mire. Solomon Mire trying to hit Roche ended up getting LBW. He tried to play a pull shot, and Kemar Roche was so pumped up after the wicket of Solomon Mire that he really tried to give him a send-off, and he was also he got some demerit points for doing so. Solomon Mire was out for naught, and the Zimbabwean innings were really in shambles at 8 for 2. Craig Irvine and Brendan Taylor joined in. Brendan Taylor received some chin music from Shannon Gabriel, the pacey bowler of the West Indies, and Brendan Taylor was also made to grope outside the off stump, and then Gabriel got one to nip in, and Taylor was gone plumb. LBW bowled Gabriel for 10 with 1 boundary, which made it 23 for 3, and then Craig Irvine's wicket was snapped up by Devendra Bishop in his clean bowl for 22 with 3 boundaries, which made the score 46 for 4, and the Zimbabwean innings was really going down at that point of time. But then Peter Moore joined Sikandar Raza, the man in form who made that his highest score in Test cricket, as you would remember, Sikandar Raza. So Sikandar Raza was there along with Peter Moore, and Peter Moore and Sikandar Raza started nursing the Zimbabwean innings to safety with a wonderful partnership that happened, which so far was still unbeaten towards the close of play, when the Zimbabweans closed at 144. They were only 18 runs ahead. We are going into the 4th day. Peter Moore was on a very, very, very quiet 39 with 2 boundaries. I was in no hurry at all. Sikandar Raza continued his good form with the bat, as he played some very good bold strokes for the bowlers, hit Gabriel for boundaries, and also he was very good against the spinners, as Sikandar Raza picked up 1 more 50, and what a match for Sikandar Raza, getting 80, getting 58 unbeaten runs, still there at the crease, and also picked up a 5-wicket bag. So definitely showing great all-round prowess there. Not out on 58, 5 fours and 1 6, and Zimbabwe will be hoping that this pair continues for a long time, as only 18 runs. But this partnership has done a great thing. It is 94-run partnership, which is unbroken right now. And as far as the ball, so we are definitely, I'm sure we are going into the 4th day. I'm just going to check on that. Yes, it was day 4, so tomorrow is the final day. So Zimbabwe have to see to it that they occupy the crease as much as possible, so as to give West Indies lesser chance of a victory. That would be interesting to see as to how they do it, and I think it will. They still have some batting to come. Let me tell you that Malcolm Waller, Chakabwa, Creamer can all bat. So definitely, it's all a matter of Peter Moore and Sikandar Raza really stitching together a big partnership there, probably in the mode of Gabriel, of Shane Dowrich and Holder of West Indies. But if that is going to happen, that would be sort of a great one for them. Gabriel 13 1 for 16, but Kemar Roche was the one who created the initial damage. 12 overs, 7 meetings, 14 runs and 2 wickets. Brathwaite bowled 9 overs, 1 meeting, none for 19. Jason Holder, 12 overs, 2 meetings, none for 29. Bishu had 1 wicket for 38 of his 13. Chase ball 2 overs for 7. Blackwood 6 overs 2 minutes, none for 11. Well, dear fan subscribers, that really sums up everything as far as today's daily cricket show is concerned. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll be seeing you back tomorrow on my next cricket show. Until then, it's good night.